I feel like I maybe didn't do my job very well if you watched my first time flyer video and still felt like everything was super complicated. And I get it, because if you haven't flown a lot, it feels like a lot of steps and can feel really overwhelming. The reality of it though is that there's actually quite a flow in airports and of flying, and you can't really skip a step. Like, everything becomes really obvious when you're in the airport, like what comes next. So let me introduce to you what I'm going to call the flying flow. So the very first step of this process is to check in for your flight. That's it. You can check in online or through the airline app, which are the two easiest ways to do it. Then the next thing that you have to do is arrive at the airport and check in your bag. That's it. That's the next step. Get yourself to the airport. If you have a bag to check in, which you may not, and that's okay, but if you do have a bag to check in, you're going to do that the very first thing when you arrive there. And then the next step of the process is to go through security. And this will be very obvious because there's nowhere else to go in the airport except go to security. So that is going to be the next step of the process. And at that point, the majority of the stress of flying is pretty much over. You've pretty much handled the majority of the things that are your sole responsibility, which is like getting yourself to the airport on time. And so after you go through security, the next thing is just to find your gate and chill. Just chill, just relax. Nothing else for you to do. If your plane isn't there or it's not boarding yet, there's nothing else for you to do except wait for those things to happen. Get a snack, get a drink, go to the bathroom, do whatever you want until it's time to board your flight. And this is super simple. All you do is scan your boarding pass and walk to your seat. That's it. Those are the whole steps. That's all you have to do. And once you've found your seat, you are completely not in charge of that. There's literally nothing for you to do. Like, you do not have to do a single thing. The airline is completely in charge of getting you to your final destination. It's going to be the pilot and the flight attendants who are there to help. So all you have to do at that point is just relax. Just relax, just chill. Don't worry about anything. And then the next and potentially final step in this process is arriving at your destination. Now, if you're at your layover destination, you might have to go back and repeat steps 4 through 7 before you get to your final destination. But if you're at your final destination, then you just collect your bag if you've checked one in and then exit the airport. And that is the final step of the flying flow. And again, I know it feels like a lot of steps, but again, you can't really skip ahead. Like, once you arrive at the airport, you can't go straight to boarding your flight without checking your bag and going through security and finding your gate. Like, it becomes very obvious when you're in the airport what is the next step to do. There's also signs everywhere. I'm telling you, like every 10 feet, like, and there'll be multiple signs. If you get overwhelmed easily, or especially by like new environments and new things, just get to the airport early and just give yourself enough time to be able to move through each of these steps where you feel comfortable doing so. Make these videos because I don't want people to feel intimidated or scared from flying, because it actually is a very fun part of travel. And you'll even see from other comments on this video where this one came from, a lot of people are saying there was first time flying, they were so scared, and then someone will ask, well, how did it go? And they'll come back and be like, oh my gosh, it was so great. I was worried for no reason. And that is exactly the experience I want everybody to have. If you have any more questions about traveling or flying, please let me know. I always love helping people out where I can, and happy travels.